Let's get more on these allegations and specifically how they ended up online from Alex in the queue.
Tokes, election meddling, right? There's nothing new about that. Claims of governments meddling in other countries, nothing new about that. But what is new is the way the platforms are used. New platforms, if you're talking in a historical sense, very short amount of time they've been around, and how these have been used to coordinate information, disinformation and interference campaigns. Well, let's rewind to the UK election. If it was a lifetime ago, just in December though, before the vote, the UK Labour Party got their hands on these. Here's Jeremy Corbyn, then leader of that party, claiming that was a plot to sell the NHS to the United States. The documents, unredacted trade initial discussions between the UK and the US, had ended up in the Labour Party's hands. They haven't answered questions about exactly how they got them. But when you look online, it's fair to say that Reddit was probably where a lot of people first came across these. In a post on that site, which around a few months before it was actually picked up and amplified by the Labour Party, a post sharing these documents, which had been illicitly acquired. As the UK Foreign Secretary had said, almost certain the Russian actors had acquired these documents and spread them online through Reddit. So what exactly did Reddit say at the time? Well, Reddit saying that alongside Facebook and other platforms, they had conducted a security review. They had linked this to one account in particular, and then another account. They then removed these accounts as suspected Russian actors. Now, this, of course, is going back now to last year. Reddit at the time saying this. The new piece of information here is the UK government piling in and saying, yes, Russian actors most likely behind these documents ending up on Reddit. Now, we know the Russians have, again, denied this and pointed the finger at the UK, saying, where are your facts? Let's bring you a statement here. The statement about Dominic Raab here is so vague and controversial, it's almost impossible to understand. Russia saying, where's your proof? And a lot of commentators are saying this is part of a broader campaign of plausible deniability. I spoke to Tim Marshall. He's a best-selling author. He's been looking at geopolitics, international relations for decades. And I asked him, what's really going on behind the scenes here?
The news about what happened in the UK election is part of a much, much wider campaign. But it's a very good example. You seek to introduce different narratives which suit your purposes to a country's election campaign, or you seek to introduce a complete false narrative. And by doing so, you're trying to divide countries within themselves. You're trying to divide countries from other countries. You seek to aim to support separatist movements, because the weaker the European Union is, for example, or an individual country is, the stronger you feel. That is the overarching strategy, which is played out in 1,000 ways across a dozen social media platforms, amplified by certain media outlets, and it goes up to make a strategy to weaken your opponents.
So today, eyes are back on the UK election in December, but also on the French election, and eyes are looking forward to the US election, Tokes. Russia, of course, denying any of these allegations, but a lot of people saying it's once again another reason to have a much broader discussion about the integrity of elections in the age of social media.
Alex, thanks for looking at that for us.